Hey y'all, hi. In today's video, I'm inviting you along as I flip my wardrobe from fall/winter clothes to spring/summer clothes. Right off the bat, I have to confess that I lifted this idea directly from Emma Hill, whose wardrobe changeover videos have inspired me. It is totally due to her influence that I even thought of filming this video, and I'll link her channel down below. I encourage you to check it out. My wardrobe changeover is pretty dynamic this season due to some extenuating circumstances that I'll explain in a minute. I wasn't really sure how it was going to turn out, as you'll see, but it ended up being really satisfying for me, and I hope that you enjoy it too. If you do enjoy it and you happen to be new here, or you've been watching for a while and you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you'll decide to subscribe. And let's now get right into the meat of this video. So quickly here at the beginning, there are 5 extenuating circumstances, 5 relatively unique features of this project, this season, this year for me. Feature number 1, the closet wasn't just full of winter clothes, it was also kind of messy and disorganized. So I took this opportunity to organize in addition to switching out the seasons. I actually really like reorganizing in my closet from time to time. I like moving things around to refresh my experience of interacting with my clothes. And I knew going into it that there might be some clothes that didn't get switched out, but that did get moved around to create an even more increased sense of newness. Feature number 2, I have way fewer summer clothes than winter clothes. I was a little worried going into it that this particular wardrobe changeover might whittle my closet down to nothing. Feature number 3, the timing. It's not winter anymore right now, but it's still a little bit chilly on some days. And even at the height of summer, I need some garments to warm me in air-conditioned spaces. So I planned to judiciously retain a few cold weather garments, transitional weather garments, and maybe even keep a few really warm things like winter things as stragglers that will end up going into storage a month or two later than everything else. Feature number 4 of this wardrobe changeover. Now we're getting to the big ones. My style has changed. I think I can now say that with confidence. My style has changed. If you've been following my experimental minimal wardrobe series, then you'll know that I've pretty much converted to just a little bit more streamlined of an aesthetic. In particular, I'm less into prints now, especially really multicolored prints. I like some prints, but they tend to be like more minimal prints, like a little bit graphic, a little bit simpler. And going into this changeover, I was aware that a lot of the clothes I put away at the end of last summer are emblematic of like the most maximal that my style has ever gotten. They're just louder. My summer clothes are louder. I had no idea what it would feel like opening up that box of sundresses and getting back into them. Lately, I've been feeling, as the seasons have changed, a little bit more amenable to the idea of color, a little bit more willing to wear some louder prints, and kind of a little bit curious about what was in that box, but still not sure that I feel enthusiastic about the height of my former level of maximalism. All right, and feature number 5 of this wardrobe changeover. In addition to my style, my body has changed pretty dramatically recently. And in my case, the change to my body has come about because I'm pregnant. But bodies change for all sorts of reasons. Illness, injury, aging, seasonal weight fluctuation, or just general weight fluctuation. It's normal over the course of your life to go through periods of time where some of your clothes don't fit. So the question during a time like this, for anyone going through a time like this for any reason, the question becomes, what do you do with the clothes that don't fit? There's some guesswork involved because we can't always accurately predict whether or not they will someday fit again. And if you're someone who has carefully collected a wardrobe of nice things, some of them investment pieces, and you've tried, as I have tried, to buy things that you hope will last forever and that you hope you will wear forever, you can't really be flippant about that. For example, in my case, I have a handful of pairs of tailored high-waisted trousers, and for years they fit beautifully on my waist. Of course, I can't wear them now, but I'm also aware that I might never be able to wear them again. If it turns out that those pants don't fit the new normal for me, then I'll sell them. and that'll be fine. But it might be a year or more before I can accurately gauge that. And in the meantime, I don't want them hanging in my closet. It's really important to me. It's become really important to me that when I look into my closet, everything that's there is something that works for me now, in season, in style, and in size. So that means that clothes that don't fit are all going into temporary storage. Some of them are already in temporary storage. I've been steadily moving them into storage as they stop fitting. And I knew going into this wardrobe changeover that it would likely send another round of too small garments into storage too. So what with all of these factors, fewer summer clothes than winter clothes, a more minimalist aesthetic, a different body, and a chance to reorganize, I went into this changeover expecting a really different closet, more than anything, a much, much smaller closet as a result. And I was very curious to see how it would turn out. And honestly, I went into it with a little bit of trepidation too. So I started by cleaning up a little bit of the mess just to make a little bit more space for myself. And then I brought out these weatherproof Tupperwares that I use for clothes storage. These are from the Container Store, and I absolutely love them. Of course, I will link them down below. Where I lived in LA, there were clothes moths, like the moths that eat holes in your clothes, and eradicating them from all of our belongings after we moved, it has been a huge ongoing project that has required a shocking level of vigilance. It's only been a year, so there is a chance that some eggs have survived in spite of all that I have done. They could still hatch, especially as the weather warms up, and I'm always super conscious of that danger with the way that I store my clothes. I don't want clothes moths to take over this video in addition to the way that they've taken over my life, so I'm not going to talk more about that, but I will pin a lengthy and detailed comment all about moth eradication for those of you looking for advice on that, because I have pretty much become an expert. Anyway, it's worth it to me to invest in these amazing, super locking, super sealing storage Tupperwares, and I have 2 fresh big ones to fill with winter clothes. I also have these giant 10-gallon Ziploc bags for extra protection on top of that. I'll link those below as well. I started by going through these racks in the exterior of my closet, these racks on which I've been hanging all of my tops, and pulling out all of my heavy-duty winter sweaters and long-sleeved shirts. So this is the really warm clothing, stuff that will be uncomfortably warm to wear even on a little bit of a chilly spring day, or just stuff that has so much of a winter vibe to it, like a chunky winter vibe, that it would feel weird aesthetically to be wearing it in spring. Some of my sweaters will need to be washed one last time before I pack them away. That's actually one of the important steps when it comes to moth prevention. Most of what was hanging there was already clean, but my big chunky wool sweaters I wear over and over and over again without needing to wash them. Many of them I just wash once a season. So some of those I put aside for their final wash and dry before I pack them up. Everything else was clean and ready to pack up. Fabrics that are much less likely to be harboring moth eggs, especially at this point in my eradication process. Fabrics like cottons or anything synthetic, although I don't have that much that's synthetic. Those things at this point, I feel safe storing them loose in the Tupperwares. So a lot of things I was just folding up and stacking in the Tupperwares. But I'm still paranoid enough that anything that's wool, anything that's like a really juicy snack for a moth, got folded and packed into its own plastic bag to keep it separate from everything else inside the Tupperwares. Some categories, things like sweatshirts, they're things that I will wear through winter and summer, and that will be really great light layers in summer. So when it came to sweatshirts, for example, I just picked my favorite 2 or 3 and left them hanging in the closet, and I packed all the rest of them away. Then I went into my much smaller back closet, which is where I've been storing my dresses and my pants. I brought out all of my winter dresses and a few pairs of pants that don't fit anymore right now. All of those went straight into the Tupperwares. That was pretty straightforward. And then I stood back and I took another pass at the tops. I just felt like I still had way too many long-sleeved tops hanging there. It gets really hot where I live right now, and even though it's kind of just starting to be spring currently, I know that summer is right around the corner, and I just felt like I didn't need so many transitional pieces. I didn't need all of the ones I had decided to skip over on the first pass. I also wanted to consolidate all of the tops onto the top rack, and once I had whittled them down again with that second pass, I was able to do that. I put all of the tops up onto the top rack, and then I brought out all of my pants, which have been hanging hanging in the dress closet for a while now. I put my pants back there when I realized I wanted all of my knitwear to have its own rack. That was the bottom rack of the open concept closet. But now that I'm packing all of my knitwear away, I can bring the pants back out. I also thought that this would be a good move because even though I have fewer items of spring and summer clothing than I do fall and winter clothing, I have more dresses for the spring and the summer. So it makes sense everywhere. No problem fitting the pants on the rack out here and more breathing room for the dresses that are left hanging in the closet. But as it turned out, I had so few pants that they only filled half of the bottom rack. And at the same time, I realized once I had brought out the pants and kind of assessed the situation that it felt a little bit funny to have my transitional knitwear and long-sleeved things mixed in with like my t-shirts and my really lightweight summer blouses on the top rack. So I brought the transitional knitwear back down to share the bottom rack with the pants, and everything fit perfectly that way. It also made room, plenty of room, for 4 or 5 t-shirts that I had been storing in a little storage bin on the back of the closet door to be brought out and hung up on hangers, kind of put with the rest of my tops. That's a much better system for me, especially going into the season when I'm going to be wearing those t-shirts more. The storage system that's on the back of my closet door, by the way, is also from the Container Store. I'll link that down below as well. So then it was time, the moment of truth, time to bring out the bona fide summer clothes that have been in storage for months. During a recent reorganization, I had already weeded out the summer clothes that were in storage that I knew for sure wouldn't fit me this summer. These are the ones that remained. Most of them are things that were banished for maximalism 6 months ago during my first pass, my first try at a minimal wardrobe. And then they never came back, maybe partly because they're so maximalist, but mostly because they weren't seasonal. So I was really curious to see how I would feel about them now. And it was super interesting. First of all, I realized I had to try everything on to get a feel for it. And here's what happened. Some of it fit well and had a bit more print than I've been wearing lately, but still felt really great and felt like something that I might wear this summer. And a little bit of an infusion of print felt welcome, actually, like felt like it would be fresh for me. Some of it fit, but just felt too maximalist for my current vibe, too loud, too busy, and some things were just too tight. My patchwork Doen blouse, for example, the iconic beloved patchwork blouse, it doesn't fit across my currently prodigious bosom. The buttons would close, but then they were like strained and gapping. I think I'd like to wear it again, but I'm going to have to wait and see if it fits next summer. And honestly, I give it a 50-50 chance. Stay tuned. And the distinctions are so interesting to me, the fineness of some of the distinctions. I ended up being really excited to take out my Dries Van Noten house dress. It fits perfectly and it feels really chic to me right now. It's like I cannot wait to wear it. But the Bathsheba house dress that I have, which is very similar in design, it feels like too much. It fit when I put it on. It was definitely cute, but I feel like it was too cute, like cutesy. There was something about the combination of the femininity of the coloring, the cheekiness of the Western detailing, also the fact that it's significantly shorter than the Dries Van Noten house dress. It's like a knee-length dress. I felt like it made kind of a doll out of me, and I'm just not about that life right now. I was aware when I had it on that it objectively looked good, but I also became aware the more I thought about it that even if I hung it in my summer wardrobe, I wasn't going to wear it. So of the things that were in that box, about half of them made it into the wardrobe. The other half went back in storage. They lived to be reassessed another day. Next, I cleaned up around the edges a bit, so to speak, made some decisions about what to put on the shelves. My shoes, I didn't have to change over. I hadn't put my sandals away. I don't have enough shoes that I need to do that. So all of my shoes are just out all of the time. But I did a little bit of tidying, a little bit of cleaning, kind of brought some of my summer shoes to the forefront. And then I had my results. And here's what they are. My summer wardrobe is smaller than my winter one, and even smaller than it would ordinarily be because so many of my pairs of pants are in storage. But it's still not small. Like, I would not call it small. It is definitely not as small as I thought it would be. I'm surprised by how many viable clothes I have. Doing this gave me a realistic realistic sense of what my options actually are and made me way less freaky outy about the fact that nothing fits anymore, everything's in storage, what am I going to wear when it gets really hot, et cetera, all these feelings I'd been feeling because I didn't quite know what I had, I didn't quite know where everything was, and it was making me want to go out and buy more stuff. This project, the wardrobe changeover, it really helped quell the urge to buy more stuff going into summer. At the very least, I will wear all of what I have first and then make a very deeply informed decision about what I might need if it actually does turn out not to be enough. But my hope is that it will pretty much turn out to be enough. One of my favorite results, one of my favorite things is that since I brought the pants to the external rack, the closet is all dresses. It's much easier for me to see what I have dress-wise specifically, and I feel like that's going to encourage me to wear more dresses because I can just march into my closet and I know what I'm gonna wear. If I go in there looking, it's gonna be a dress. So that's it. After all that, a relatively straightforward and successful closet changeover. I've really fallen in love with this way of interacting with my wardrobe. Moving things around, bringing things in and out of storage. It makes me feel like my overall collection of clothes is something that morphs and evolves with me as I change. But it does that without me having to buy a whole bunch of new stuff every season. It's like the fundamental agent of change in my closet is me reorganizing my stuff and curating a new edit from my larger collection of belongings every 2 or 3 months. And then when something new does get added, as it does from time to time, that's just like a cherry on top. But it's not the only thing causing my wardrobe to feel fresh. And that has saved me a lot of money. It's helped me keep an overall more streamlined collection, and it has made it feel more merited for me to invest a little bit more in pieces that are a bit nicer, like my sweaters, which I wear every year, and I'm always excited to bring out of storage when the seasons change. Thank you so much for watching this video about my wardrobe changeover. Again, please subscribe if you are so inclined. Thank you so much to those of you who are always liking my videos, making my day with your comments. You're the best. And I hope whoever you are watching that you're taking extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.